2. All right, welcome in. It's the Pillow Talk edition of Pugs and Company, the second of 2 streams that we do each and every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming network. Hi, my name is Pugs. We do these, like I said, this is the second of 2. The noon show we do, it's called High Noon. So please join us. That airs every Monday through Friday, noon until we finish. It used to be noon to 2, but now we just, we've gone late the last couple of days and whatever. Lots of stuff to talk about. Now, what is the Pugs? Why you do 2 streams? Well, they're 2 very different offerings. The High Noon show is a show that is based entirely on trending topics, current events, whatever it is, whatever things people are talking about in any given day at noon, we're going to be talking about them here. Consider it your cheat sheet, a little prep sheet, a little something so that you're not walking through the world bumping into things going, I don't know what's going on. That's my service I provide it to you every day. So come join us. It's fun. It's just me, typically. Sometimes we've got E, sometimes not. Most of the time, it's just sometimes James is with us. Pillow Talk, this version, we do this. We double back at 9 o'clock every night. We do this. It's called Pillow Talk. It's a little bit more loose, a little bit more, we have some cocktails. We have a little bit more conversational chemistry working. 2 totally different offerings. We hope you enjoy them both. And come on by. This one airs every Sunday night through Thursday night. And I'm always pleased when we get James Parker with us. Hi, James. How are you?
Good evening.
I'm sorry about that. We had an issue. We got started here. We were talking about old man glasses that you can buy at the dollar store for really cheap. Yours look great. Those are $1 Dollar Tree glasses?
Yes. They're $1 Dollar Tree.
Cannot tell the difference. You could have told me that they were $200 designer. I'd be like, yeah, totally. Yeah.
You're an idiot not to buy them.
You're an idiot not to buy 10 and leave them everywhere in every nook and cranny of this house. Hey, look at it. Oh, I just reached in case I need a spare. Oh, look at this. I got them everywhere.
Hey, look, I got another one. Watch this. I'm frivolous. Oh,
no. How terrible. Hey, it's just $1, folks.
I am frivolous.
Look at him. That's big money. That's big radio money right there, being able to snap that $1.
Can you hear that? I hear the lady swooning right now. You can hear them like through the mic. There's a little echo of all the ladies swooning hard.
Because of that magnificent glasses, circular lazy Susan, I guess we could call it there, that they have at the Dollar Tree. They have the reading glasses for $1 each, but then right next door, they've got the sunglasses. So, we're lake people. I'm a boat guy. I never thought I'd be a boat guy, but, Big E, who runs the 1%er compound that we do the show here from, he's a boat guy. He's got boats, he's got jet skis, all that stuff. Dude, I went there, I don't know, when I first arrived, probably around June. And I'm like, oh boy, here's what I know about jet skiing. You're going to lose your sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose don't be spending $100 on stupid ass. Dude, I bought like 10 pairs of sunglasses for the summer. I'm down to 3. I lost 7 over the course of the summer.
Dang.
But you'd be stupid not to do it. And I have had people go, oh, those sunglasses are cool. And I revel in going, thank you, Dollar Tree, $1. Oh, you're so funny. No, I'm serious. Dollar Tree. What? I mean, Dollar Tree's great for these glasses. They don't look cheap. They don't.
Yeah, but I don't know if you should revel in that of all the things.
Why? I like.
That's like an old man bragging, like, I don't know who Ariana Grande is. I thought that was the number 3 at Taco Bell.
I may be abstinent, but I ain't dead. I know who Ariana Grande is. Trust me. I ain't that old. All right. So I have to tell you, I had an incident today. I am hobbled. I'm hobbled, my man. So I'm doing my running. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm back to doing my running. I'm up.
Oh, that's great. Good.
I'm up to 3 miles now. Started out first day, Sunday, started out after not having run in like 6 months, not since my son was in football training over the summer when we were running, and it was like 110 degrees. And I was like, this sucks. So that put me off it for a while. I had such a terrible experience in the month that he stayed here where we were running, that I was just like, I don't need it. And I ballooned up, got really fat. First of the year, we all make resolutions. Everybody wants to make this year the best year that they could possibly make it. So I'm going to lose the weight that I gained since being here, which is like 25, 30 pounds. And running and eating better is the way that I do it. But I had an incident today. I went running. I like to go running in the dark. Now, you're familiar with this neighborhood, the 1%er neighborhood.
You like to run in the dark.
Love to run at night.
Okay.
I love running at night. I just love it. I used to run in the woods at night. I love it. It's creepy. It's like nobody else is out. And in this neighborhood, especially for the last couple of nights, I mean, this is a beautiful neighborhood to go running in. This is just, I mean, and
Pleasantville.
Christmas time with the lights, the over the top lighting, Christmas displays that people here. So it was very, very pleasant. I love it. I love running here at night. Here's the problem. I injured myself tonight because I was running at night. I was about, I don't know, about a half mile out of the house. I'd already gotten a mile in. So I was in about a mile and a half of my nightly run. And I was, well, you know where we are without really giving out exactly where we are. I run up to Lemon where the Whole Foods is. You know where the Whole Foods is up there?
Yep.
Okay. So here's basically my run. I run up to Mockingbird, turn around, run all the way to Lemon, turn around, and then come back here. Right. So that's 3 miles. That turns out to be almost exact 2.92, I think, but almost exactly 3 miles. So I had gone all the way up to Mockingbird and all the way back down past the house, and I had gotten to where the Whole Foods was. And just before the Whole Foods, there are these apartment buildings. Now, when I say apartment building, you know, every neighborhood's got like shitty apartments that anchor it. There's like the houses, and then there's like these shitty apartments are like $2 million each. These are like gorgeous apartments, and they have these extravagant trees, these big giant. And I don't know what the hell it was, but I'm running on the sidewalk and I hit like a gigantic pecan or something that had fallen on the sidewalk, twisted my ankle, went down in a huff. Oh my God. I thought I was going to die. I was out of breath. I was exhausted. I just laid on the sidewalk for a good 90 seconds, catching my breath and reveling in my pain. Not one person, I guess nobody saw me because not one person stopped and said, "Hey, fat old man, are you okay?" And I just laid there. I was so close to calling Emil and going, "Get me out."
No, oh my God, no.
I gutted it out. And I turned and I just said, "Okay, that's it. I'm done running. I'm walking and I'm limping and it's hurting because it's still stinging and all this stuff." And I get to the corner of where our house is, and I'm like, okay, I'm walking this off pretty good. I ended up walking another 1.5 miles in the other direction. So I got my full 3 miles in. I didn't run it. I didn't run it today, but I stayed dedicated. So now here we are, a good 1 hour after my run. Holy shit, dude.
Is it swelling?
It is swelling so bad.
Oh, then you did something to it.
Well, do you see that?
Yeah, but I don't know how ugly your foot looks under normal circumstances.
Okay, well, I'll give you an example. Well, it's on the ankle. It's right here.
Okay.
Big bulbous white swelling. Oh my God.
You're doomed.
Yeah, I am. But here's my situation.
Okay.
See, it's swollen. And for a man of my girth and size, that probably looks fairly dimensional. Like, yeah, okay, you know, well, he's big, he's top heavy, his ankles got to support the upper half and all that. That's not my natural body build. I have chicken ankles. That's why I have broken my ankles multiple times. I've sprained each ankle probably 15 times in my life. I'm not supposed to be shaped like a light bulb. I am not supposed to be so heavy up top. My ankles are tiny little I'll show you the other one. Here. I have tiny little chicken ankles. I don't know if you can. I can't get a good angle on it. All right, see the tiny little. See how little the white. All right, so that's what it's supposed to look like.
Okay. And this is what you got over here. All right. Yeah, dude, you're doomed.
I can't walk on it.
You are absolutely stewed.
I cannot. Here we are, an hour after my run. And I cannot walk on it. I tried.
Hey, here's some fun questions. How's your health insurance situation these days, Pugs?
It's good. Fully insured.
Oh,
good.
Okay. How'd you pull that off?
Well, I don't know if I should say this, but I live in a...
Don't.
I'm visiting. I reside in a state that has a wonderful exchange, and I have an incredible rate on individual health insurance.
Oh, okay. So you're just paying for it yourself?
Yeah. Just very easy. $50 a week or $50 a month. It's beautiful, full coverage. When I had my heart incident, I was in a private room with wood floors. It was like a Four Seasons. It was beautiful. Okay. But it's not broken. I know, because like I said, I've lived with this chicken ankle situation my entire life. So I know when it's broken. It ain't broken. It's just I twisted it and it's gonna swell. And by tomorrow, I'm gonna be in so much pain. And this kills me. The master over in the big house. He used to be the guy, man. He would be the guy I would call for anything. Dude, I need a couple of Vicodin. Can you get me a couple of Vicodin? But he's like an upstanding dad now. He's like abstaining. He doesn't smoke weed. I mean, how unbelievable is that? When you're like the old Emil that we knew from 10 years ago. I mean, could you imagine that guy would ever be like, yeah, I don't really drink.
Yeah, hanging out with y'all's a little different because I come in and y'all both are like, do you want a drink? Sure. So I go make a drink. And then both of y'all go, well, if you're going to have a drink, I guess I'll have a drink. I was like, y'all weren't going to drink anyway? This is like,
no, we weren't.
no, y'all were just going to sit around and watch TV like an old married couple? What are y'all doing?
No, we typically don't sit around and watch TV. It's just when you're there, we both feel compelled to turn it into a bit of a social situation.
I know, but if I hadn't have been there, would y'all just watch Sports Center while drinking some unsweet tea?
No, we would not be watching Sports Center, but yes, we'd be drinking sweet tea. That is probably what we'd have gotten. All right, James is here, so that means we must be. For crying out loud. I need a Vicodin. I need something. It hurts so bad. Without having Vicodin or some sort of a pain killer. I got no weed. I don't do that. That'd be great. I'm just gonna pound whiskey. So bear with me tonight, folks. Hey James, how would you like to do a little bit of a monologue?
I would love to do a monologue. Thank you for asking.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the One Percenter Guest House in the Comfort Nest Room, the comedy sensation, a man of 1,000 voices, beloved around the globe, James Joyce Parker.
Thank you.
All right, sorry.
That's all right. Hey, so my New Year's resolution was to work out every day, and so far I'm doing great. I've only missed 6 days.
Look at him. Look at him with New Year jokes.
Very timely. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, a 31-year-old female math teacher was arrested for having sex with an underage male student. Cops say the woman also texted the boy improper fractions. In Madison, Tennessee, an apartment manager called police after she found an intruder in a female tenant's bathroom taking a shower. The cops on the scene searched the guy, said he was clean.
Sorry, you caught me with the pants down.
That's all right. It was a dad joke. They sneak up on you.
I was supposed to do CSI there. I'm sorry.
It's up to you. You're the
I know.
Puppet master pulling the strings. Veterinarians are warning that giving marijuana to pets can produce side effects. For example, some dogs stop playing fetch and start playing Pink Floyd.
That Pink Floyd stoner music joke. Gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, dogs using Spotify. That's pretty funny too. Child psychologists say you should limit your children's screen time. Otherwise, they'll grow up to be like pugs.
Caught me late on that one.
Yeah, well, I hate the ricochet anyway. It sounds so dorky.
It's the easiest one to get to.
Yeah, you're ruining my life. On this day in 2021, protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol. Since then, Capitol Police have done a lot to beef up security, including installing a Ring doorbell.
Oh,
They'll be safe now. And finally, happy birthday to Eric Trump. He turns 38 today. He's a graduate of Georgetown University, and even more prestigious, he has an honorary degree from Trump University.
Oh, I bit on that one. Hi-yo. My fat finger slipped. I hit it like a split second too early.
It's all right. It still sounded okay.
It's not all right. It's not all right. You're just being magnanimous, and I appreciate that about you. Thank you.
No, I'm just
being understanding.
Just saying the content and the delivery and the charisma can overcome your sloppy fingers.
Okay. All right. Let's see who we got here. We got Albert. Hi, Albert. We got more of these Voom.ong. We got Russian GoBots hanging out with us.
Jeff, Glenn, Byron, Leslie, Jennifer, John. I think that's about it. A couple of Vladimirs are Mikolof's in there or something.
Not by me. Hey, come on by. Whatever. Click
Hey, did you know beef stroganoff is Russian? I just learned that this week. Beef stroganoff. I've been eating it my entire life. I never really thought about it, and someone said it's Russian. I'm like, that does sound kind of Russian. Like anything with an off at the end of it, isn't it?
Of course it's Russian.
Like Russian.
Stroganoff. You didn't think that sounded Russian?
Dude, it could have been Finnish. I never really thought about it.
Stroganoff?
Yeah, well, that sounds Polish, really. I mean, that's kind of any Slav. It could be even be Czech.
Eastern European. Yeah. That's all Russian to me anyway.
Like a Tony Kukoc or something.
Absolutely. You tell me you're Serbian, you're Russian. You tell me you're Croatian, you're Russian. You tell me you're Czech, you're Russian.
Slavs, they're just Slavs. They're just varying degrees of Slavs.
Hi, Tom. What's happening? My boy Tom isn't there. Let me see here. Before we get rolling, let me check on my Tom reminds me of my new I'm big into the Bitcoin now.
Oh, how you doing with the Bitcoin?
Let me check on my Bitcoin.
Making millions.
Getting crushed. It is absolutely it is falling apart. It is falling apart today. We're waiting for people to pick it up on the dip. That's what we're hoping. We're hoping now's the time for all you people to buy into Bitcoin. Buy into it. It's not going to dip for long. It's the future. So I need everybody to buy Bitcoin now so that I can get back up to, I don't know, wherever the hell I am.
So you can make some money.
Yeah. Are you a Bitcoin guy? You're a financial guy. I know you do a lot of the financial shows. Do you have a Bitcoin expert?
I do not. I don't.
Do you understand it at all?
I understand the theory behind it. I'm not sure if it applies in the real world the way it's proposed.
Okay. That's good because I'm going to be launching a new podcast. Maybe you could be a part of it. I was actually going to hit you up to see if you had any friends in the financial world who consider themselves Bitcoin experts or anything like that. The podcast, the Radio Misfits podcast, and by the way, there's another couple of podcasts that I haven't been able to announce specifically yet because we don't want to announce it specifically yet. But there's one coming that you're going to really enjoy, especially you people who are fans of the old radio show. You're going to really enjoy it. Especially if you were fans of me and Kelly together. You're going to really enjoy it. That's all I'm telling you. There is a podcast coming to the Radio Netflix thing that will remind you of those days. Bless you. Look at you having a rough go.
Oh, I'm fine.
So one of the new podcasts is going to be Explain to Me Bitcoin, because I believe that there are a lot of people who are, intrigued by it, but haven't the slightest idea. So I want to do 10 episodes on 10 different subjects surrounding the initial investment one might make in Bitcoin. And we're going to learn about Bitcoin together. It's going to be I'm big into the utilitarian things now, podcasts that are for a purpose that, people, not just a couple of dudes sitting in a basement talking about what they did today. Because who the fuck listens to that other than their friends, right? And even then,
nobody.
So what you got to do is you got to create something that's searchable. You got to create something that, the outside world might just be interested in. They'll see it in a list of podcasts and go, oh, you know what? I want to learn. So there you go. So that's what we're going to do. So, you want to be a part of the Teach Me Bitcoin or whatever the hell we're going to do. Come on by. Radio Misfits has a nice audience. Better than what we do for streaming. So, I'm thinking it might work. All right, let's get the show started here. Let me show you something. Can we just start out? Do you know who Jim Jones is? And I'm not talking about the Drink the Kool-Aid Jim Jones. I'm talking about hip-hop artist Jim Jones.
Yes.
Okay. So Jim Jones went on a, stop me if you've heard this already. Jim Jones went on a, I don't know, it's just like a bunch of black lady podcast show today. He was sitting in there hanging out, smoking a blunt, hanging out with a bunch of black ladies, talking about, what it's like to be him. And I just want to show you how this thing went down. Let me, where is it? There we go. So let's just watch this. I'm not going to give you any sort of, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I just want your natural reaction, okay? Let's just see. Tell me what you think of this. Here's Jim Jones on a podcast with a bunch of nice black ladies. I don't know what the podcast is called, but here it goes. Okay. This was trending earlier today.
I'll tell you about sex when you were young.
She told me everything about sex.
Like what?
My first condom.
What did your mom tell you about sex when you were young?
She told me everything about sex.
Like what?
My first condoms, shit like that. My mom told me how to kiss when I was younger.
What did she tell you to do?
She told me how to tongue kiss when I was younger.
Like, what's the instructions?
It wasn't no instructions. She showed me with her mouth. Like
She kissed you?
It's my mother.
No, I'm just
I love it.
My parents barely kissed me on the cheek.
No,
So,
my mom she showed me how to, she showed me how to tongue kiss when I was younger. Remember, my mom was 17. She's a baby. Look at all the babies that's having babies now, and look how they act with their babies. It's like they have a little sister or a little brother more than they had.
Did you think tongue kissing was nasty at first? Because the first time somebody tried to tongue kiss me, I thought it was so disgusting.
All right, that's it. That's what? Are you kidding me? The man reveals that he learned how to tongue kiss from his mom, and this woman's first question is, "Did you think it was nasty?" There is no follow up. There is no whoa, stop, time out. Let's back up. Let's investigate that a little bit more. What the name? James, take it. The floor is yours.
Who's the victim here?
I don't know who I don't know that there is a victim.
It's weird and it's icky and it's out of what I would consider my comfort zone, but for other people and other cultures and other whatever and households,
what?
Maybe they're down with that. Look, and there's probably a lot of parents who like, I'll kiss my kids on the cheek and like maybe my youngest daughter will still like give me a kiss on the lips and that's about it.
Nothing wrong with that. You should be able to kiss your daughter on the lips until she's 100 years old. She's your little girl. You're not supposed to open your mouth and passionately start tongue kissing.
Yeah, but there's other cultures, you know, like I don't know, like Germans that don't kiss on the lips until they're 100 years old.
Okay, that has nothing to do with this. Has to do with a woman. He was a young boy, and she taught him how to French kiss, like some weird.
It's icky to us, but
it's
that's
not icky. It's illegal. First of all, it's illegal.
It's not illegal to tongue kiss your kid, is it?
Of course it is. If you're a minor, yes, it is. You can't. Well, I mean, okay. I guess we now have to discuss whether or not tongue kissing is a sex act, right? I mean. Could I tongue kiss the 15-year-old girl down the street? Would the police be interested in that?
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it matters if I'm her daughter. I think it's even worse if I'm her father and I'm tongue kissed.
Yeah, but it would still count if you just kissed her on the lips too. If you went out and kissed the 15-year-old at the end of the block on the lips, that would still be some sort of. I mean,
incest is illegal, right? I mean, is incest illegal?
Sort of.
I mean, I know it's frowned upon, but I mean, is it illegal? I think it's illegal.
Yeah, well, yeah, but incest like the final act or incest like second base? I mean, you can't touch your cousin's.
Yeah, at what point do I end up in cuffs when I'm screwing around with my daughter?
Oh man, no,
what the hell kind of question is that?
Make it cousin so it's like at least somewhat less gross.
No, because I'm making sure that we stay close to the batter's box on this one. This is the mom and the son. Come on, man.
Man, it's messed up. I'm granting it's messed up, but
why were there no follow-ups from these ladies?
Oh, because they're horrible broadcasters who miss a wide open door.
I mean, that should have been the rest of whatever the amount of time they had with this guy. It should have been investigating that.
The next question should have been, when was the last time you tongue kissed your mom?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, did this like when you were 12 or when you were last week?
But also his comfort with talking about it as if it wasn't that outlandish.
Yeah, like shouldn't you know to the rest of the world it's kind of taboo?
That you don't. Gross. That's not some. First of all, it's not good. It's not. And his response was, "Well, you know, baby's having babies. She was 17 years old. That doesn't have nothing to do with nothing. She's still your mom." Although, if she was 17, she wasn't. She said, "Okay," but if she was 17 and doing that, then fine, because she's a minor herself. She's not, then it's just incest. So you know.
But what is she tongue kissing an infant at that point?
Yeah, no, she wasn't. Right. He was probably like 12 years old. So we were probably talking about a 30-year-old woman, 30-year-old mom kissing her teaching her 12-year-old boy how to tongue kiss.
I got it.
Whew. Okay, so I mean, this does lead to another thing that I'm gonna blow your mind with. And this is one of the things, oh God, the first time I heard about this. So, in certain traditions, and in my research of this, it turns out that it's a thing. It's an Eastern European thing, like Turkey, and although that's not necessarily Eastern European, but the Balkans and like that part of the world. But the story that I heard specifically about this, of which I'm about to tell you, came from an Italian immigrant grandma. Okay. There's a tradition in certain parts of the world when, oh God, I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, then don't. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
If it's worse than what I just saw, then.
But it's a way that old grandmas get crying babies to stop crying baby boys specifically to stop crying when they're babies. And it's something that is done in these cultures. And I was horrified when I heard it.
Nope. Nope. There's no good options. There's none.
And it came in the form of a comedian talking about his first blowjob. and then I had an opportunity to ask him if it was real. And it became, I'm proud to be an American because we don't do that shit. Yeah, that's look, other cultures, man. I guess we all got to try to be open-minded, right? But I draw the line at that kind of stuff. You bring that.
If it's too gross for me, you need to reevaluate your life.
You bring that third world shit over here, and yeah, we're gonna have problems.
I'll judge you. I'm not gonna do anything about it, but I will judge you from a distance.
Well, yeah. What can we actually do about it? We're gonna beat up some old immigrant Italian grandma? I don't think so. All right, so what do you got going on here? I got a couple of things we'll talk about, but I know you got something you're jumping into. I want to talk about. Let's see here.
Antonio.
Yeah, we'll get into Antonio Brown. I'm gonna lead off with that. You're gonna get to jump into that because I know you got some things you want to get off your chest. Yesterday, you and I got into a little thing about LeBron James. I found something about LeBron James. It's trending today, so we'll talk about that as well. I've also got. I want to watch a video with you. I found a video was trending, and I talked about it on the High Noon Show, I want to say on Tuesday, of a father acting terrible at his kid's basketball game. And then sure enough, the next day, boom, here comes another one. So we'll watch a couple of videos of the way parents, some bad parents, behave at their kids' games. Got a story about a car thief that I think you and I could break down in the defense attorney's claim, the defense of this car thief, which is quite fun. And also another piece of video that maybe we can break down if we get to it. But first, I know that you've been wanting to talk about this Antonio Brown situation. So, James Parker, the floor is yours.
So he walks off, throws his pads, throws his jersey, throws his undershirt. He's shirtless, throws his gloves. And we've never seen that before. You've never seen a guy take all his clothes off from the waist up.
Not since Slapshot. You ever seen the movie Slapshot? That's what I thought he was doing. I thought he was doing the Michael Onkeen move from Slapshot, the hockey player who didn't like.
What were the name of the twins?
The Hanson brothers.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, Michael Onkeen didn't like that the Hanson brothers were, their whole job was to start fights. So in the middle of a big fight, Michael Onkeen decided to draw attention away from it by skating around the rink while taking off his clothes. And when I saw what Antonio Brown did on Sunday, I was like, look at him, Slapshot, baby. That's what he's doing.
Okay, so it's just a unique situation because in the real world, we've never seen that before. So Tom Brady, I thought he was being kind of nice immediately afterwards,
Classic,
yeah. And Bruce Arians had a response like in the middle of the week here, I think it was yesterday, where he said, I hope Antonio Brown gets the help he deserves. It's interesting that they have an excuse to say, screw that guy, he sucks, he's an a-hole. But both of them were kind of nice about it, and that lets you know that he must have some kind of screw loose for real.
Well, what would tip that to you? What about the 20 teams he's been on and been cut from, even though he's one of the finest receivers in the NFL? What would lead you to think that there might be something deeper?
Well, on the spectrum of, nice guy and complete a-hole, there is when you fall off the cliff on the side of complete a-hole because you're not mentally able to process things in a healthy manner. Like, Terrell Owens had to bounce around from team to team running his mouth, but he's just a jerk. He's just a loudmouth jerk. There is something that is damaged in the psyche of Antonio Brown, and I don't know if this is a concussion thing, or what would Junior Seau be doing if he had to play in the league for a few more years because he was kind of going nutty at the end from we heard afterwards, Aaron Hernandez, some of the more extreme examples. I'm not sure if it's one of those. I think just every once in a while, out of the hundreds of thousands of not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of people who cycle through the NFL, every once in a while, you're going to get a really good player who just mentally speaking is not all there, but it seems to be sort of a benevolent psychosis. He's not hurting anyone. He's not throwing punches or stabbing anyone, and he's not cutting himself, doing anything that crazy, but it is crazy. So I'm just kind of like to hear what other people think on it, what's wrong with this guy. Can he be fixed? Is there any way anyone would pick him up again? And I just find it really interesting that he's still not being condemned by the people he's affecting the most.
Yeah. I mean, I think that because of the way the Players Association is involved in all of these things, I think that they have to just move on from it. I mean, look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to win another Super Bowl. They just want to move on from them. They just don't want to turn this into a bigger thing. And I think someone like Tom Brady is smart enough to understand. I mean, look, okay, so here's the deal with Antonio Brown in Tampa Bay. He's already been suspended. When they brought him in, Bruce Arians said flatly that he's on a one-strike policy. He gets one strike and he's gone. We're not going to put up with it. He hasn't earned a second strike with his behavior over the past few years. And back in November, his first strike came in when he was caught buying and using fake vaccine cards, right? He basically told the team that he was vaccinated, and it turned out that he wasn't. And so he was suspended. And, 2 weeks after he's suspended from the team, he wasn't supposed to be back this year. They were done. They had moved on from him. 2 weeks after Chris Godwin has a season-ending injury, and suddenly they're in need of a number one wide receiver again, or not even, because I guess Mike Evans would still be the number. Anyway, at any rate, that's they caved. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers caved, and they brought Antonio Brown back. Played wonderfully. He's an incredible football player. He's a terrific wide receiver, one of the absolute best in the league. But he was on his second strike after he was told that he only got one strike. And do you know the background story, the situation there? He claims that he was hurt. He claims that he couldn't even run on his ankle. And when Bruce Arians tried to send him into the game, he said, "No, I'm not playing because I'm injured." According to AB, Bruce Arians said to him, "Then you're no longer a member of the team." And that's what triggered him. And that's when he went into the whole taking off his equipment and doing his running around. I don't believe that is the story that Arians is confirming. I don't think that he told him in the middle of the game, "Then you're no longer on the team." And even if he did, that's not how you respond. That is not how a normal person responds to it, by drawing massive attention to yourself, becoming a distraction in the middle of the game. And by the way, for a guy that was hurt, his exit certainly didn't appear like his ankle was hurt. He was jumping up and down in the end zone, shirtless, giving the peace out sign to everybody. He did not look like a guy that was hurt. So there is a bit of a controversy there as to what exactly was said to him that set him off. But, I err on the side of Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. I mean, neither of those two guys. I mean, Tom Brady certainly had Deflategate and, Spygate and all those kinds of things, but those were probably more Bill Belichick issues that Tom Brady just happened to be involved in. Antonio Brown has documented idiocy from top to bottom on his resume. I mean, whether it was when he walked out on the Pittsburgh Steelers because he didn't think Ben Roethlisberger was throwing to him enough, to him then signing with the Oakland Raiders and not even making it out of training camp because at some point he barged into GM Mike Mayock's office and starts to dress him down, and Mayock said, "Okay, get the fuck out of here. You're gone." To his, I guess he was all right with the Patriots for a year, but then he ended up with the Patriots or with the Buccaneers. And everything seemed like maybe Antonio Brown had learned his lesson. And then we get Sunday. So, dude's got a whole resume of bad behavior. And I do. I think there's something wrong here. Let me show you this just for an idea. I don't think that you've ever seen this. This is Antonio Brown at his house. I'll give you some context for what we're about to see. Antonio Brown's baby mama, mother of 3 of his kids, and at the time of this video, pregnant with his 4th, he has thrown her out of the house. He has kicked her out, and all 3 of his kids. They're gone. Screw you, bitch. Whatever. I don't know. Things happen with couples. I don't know what the origin story here is, what led to this. But his baby mama, his pregnant baby mama, shows up with the kids in tow, dragging his kids, and she shows up at his house, and she wants a car. She wants to use one of his cars. She needs a car. She doesn't have a car to get these kids around, right? She's pregnant. She's got 3 of his kids she's taking care of. He's giving her no money. He's doing absolutely nothing for her. And she shows up, and he says, no, bitch, basically. You can't have a car. Screw you, all that good stuff. And he calls the police on her. And the police show up. He says that she's trying to steal my car, that whole thing. The police show up, and
fucking people can't do nothing. You fucking white fishbowl, get the fucking people can't do nothing. You fucking white fishbowl, get the fuck out of here, you bitch. Come on, Polo. The fuck out of here. Fucking police can't have nothing. You a fucking bitch ass law. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking pussies. Fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck on my property, you pussies. Fuck out of here. I love you, Poppy. I love you. Go at them bitch ass police. Get the fuck out of here. Bitch ass little cop. Look at the little cop. You wish you could take me, you bitch ass nigga. Fuck out of here. Yeah, get in the back of the police car, fishbowl. And you ain't leaving with shit, bitch. Get the fuck out of here, you bum asshole. Thought the bitch trying to come to steal. Bitch, you gonna leave in the police car. Fuck out of here. Hollywood police, get the fuck out of here. Bitch ass niggas, get out of here. Fuck out of here. Niggas can't even get my key. Get the fuck out of here. Bitch ass niggas. Crackers, man. These crackers don't get no justice for no nigga, man. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get off my property. Broke ass motherfucker. Sir, can you get the keys? Can't do nothing. Get your bitch ass out of here, man. Bitch ass nigga. No, you want to take me to make the news. Congrats, you made the news, bitch ass nigga. The Bentley stays, the broke hoes goes. Fuck out of here, little man. Little man. Fuck out of here. Get off the AB wrestling. Get the fuck out of here. Bye, little man. Bye, bro. Get your bitch ass out of here. See you, bro. Get your bitch out of here, bro. Get your bitch out, nigga. Get out of here. Ain't no justice for the real, you heard? Richard Fuss still ducking 12. Broke out, thought she got a Bentley. Let me hit the alarm. Broke asshole try to come over here and steal. Fuck out of here. Never trust the police, man. Fuck out of here. Hollywood police, the fuck out of here, nigga. Bitch ass nigga, it's a whole block long, nigga. It's a whole block long, you heard me back it up. Hey, it's a whole block long, man. The fuck out of here, cracker.
All right, well, there you go. By the way, I would kill for a t-shirt that says simply Bentley stays, broke ass hoe goes. I just want that on a t-shirt. I think that's something that might sell. So that's what we're dealing with. That's Antonio Brown in his downtime.
I would say we caught him on a bad day, but he seems to be having a lot of bad days.
He seems to be.
Okay, look, I don't mean to be a softie because I'm a stone cold jerk most of the time.
Yeah.
But at least he's not hitting her. At least
we've not seen that.
Well, I'm sure we would have heard of it by now.
Oh, I don't know. He might knock her around, and then before she gets a chance to call the police, he writes her a check. I mean, I don't know how these things. You know what I mean?
True, but
he knocks her around. She leaves.
We don't have reports. We don't have any evidence of him.
Absolutely right. But that behavior suggests that he's probably not a gentle lover.
Yeah, right. I don't know. He might be a missionary only guy. You don't know. But there's stories of Aaron Hernandez getting in fights. There's stories of Aaron Hernandez standing down Wes Welker in the locker room. And I don't get the same vibe from Antonio Brown. I don't think Antonio Brown's like on the verge of killing someone or like OJ and his wife or something to that effect. You know,
Oh,
I don't
did you
think.
get that vibe with Aaron Hernandez before he did it? Did you get that vibe with OJ before he did it? Did we get that vibe from Ray Caruth before he did it? I mean,
Okay, okay. To be fair, Aaron Hernandez did get the vibe. If I had known him in real life or had been an encounter of any of these stories that we now know after the fact, then yeah, there was signs that he was a crazy, potentially violent dude. OJ Simpson, not so much. That's kind of why it shocked us so much and why it's still hard for a lot of people to believe, myself included. I don't know who the other one was, Ray Caruth or something.
Ray Caruth, Carolina Panthers, a great Carolina Panthers wide receiver from back in the 1990s, who arranged a hit for his pregnant girlfriend. He took her to the movies, and they were driving back from the movies, and he paid some boys with him in the car, paid some boys to pull up alongside him and put a bullet in his pregnant girlfriend's head because he didn't want to have no more babies. And now Ray Caruth is doing life in prison.
Oh my God! All right. But you know, like who was the wrestler guy that ended up killing his family? You know, so that is the concern, though. Is he sort of just a crazy guy that is otherwise benevolent, or is he on the verge of violence?
No, violence. Who knows? Yeah. Does he show the potential for violence? Well, that depends on what our non-doctorial diagnosis is. Neither of us are doctors, but I am a crazy person. I do have manic depression, so I do understand some of the signs that you look for in manic depression and bipolar disorder and all of that stuff. Antonio Brown, absolutely, 100%, I'll stand on this, has bipolar disorder. He has never been diagnosed. He grew up in extreme poverty. He never went to doctors. There was never an opportunity. He was he was a bad kid in school. He ended up his college. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL, essentially. One of them. Easily you could make that argument. He went to Central Michigan. Why? Because he couldn't read or write. He couldn't get into any real colleges. So he had to go to a junior college and play his first year somewhere in like North Carolina or something. And then the only school that would take him because of his history of being a jackass, I mean, this is going all the way back to college, or going all the way back to high school, was Central Michigan. And he came out of Central. I mean, you don't get number one receivers in the NFL out of Central Michigan. You know what I mean? But he has a very long history of being a loose cannon. And what we know now is that bipolar disorder is far more common in people than we ever. Half of the gangbanger thugs that, are just like the hitmen who by the time they're 16, they've killed 5 people in gang fights or whatever. I mean, you see it all the time. You see their mugshots on the news. Those people aren't just killers. Those people are serious, crazy people who have never been diagnosed because they don't have proper medical care. They certainly don't have any psychiatric care. And they're just walking around in the world, undiagnosed, being fucking dangerous. And I think that that's possibly what Antonio Brown is. He's just never been diagnosed because it's never been. They don't go to doctors. When you're broke ass, you don't go to doctors unless, you've got a knife in you. And then it's the emergency room.
Okay, if it really is something that's common, then why haven't we seen this before in the NFL?
We have.
No, I'm talking about the guy taking off his shirt in the middle of the game and skating out. This is kind of a different level.
No, but we did have Barrett. I can't remember his first name. Don't you remember the starting offensive center for the Oakland Raiders, who on Super Bowl Sunday didn't show up? He snuck out after curfew before the Super Bowl, the Saturday night before the Super Bowl. He snuck out and never came back. They found him 3 days later in Mexico. RJ Barrett's basketball. Barrett, his name's Barrett something. And he was undiagnosed bipolar disorder. He couldn't play in the NFL anymore because he couldn't get it under control. And then a year or two later, I believe he's dead. He's either dead or he killed a couple of cops in an alley in Miami, having an insane bipolar thing. It's very common. I think Dennis Rodman is the same thing. I think Dennis Rodman has a little bipolar disorder. And I think that's why with the Pistons, he was sitting in the parking lot of the Palace at Auburn Hills with a shotgun in his mouth, calling Chuck Daly saying, "I'm going to kill myself today." like I always say, man, this is complicated shit up here. And unless you have access to medical care and especially psychiatric medical care throughout your life, you can easily go undiagnosed. Half the adult assholes that I believe half the adult assholes that I run into on a day basis are just simply explained away by undiagnosed mental issues. I didn't know what my problem was. When I was in high school, I drove a car through a house. I didn't understand why I did that until I learned that I suffer from depression. When I learned that, okay, so why did I drink so much in high school? Why did I feel the need to be the drunkest, loudest, funnest guy at the party?
Maybe you just like Schlitz.
No, I really didn't. I mean, I hardly drink anymore. But I mean, I didn't know because that didn't, so whatever. I mean, hey, please. Just, there are a lot of messed up people. This shit is complicated. This what goes on up here is very complicated. And for hundreds of years, it had been a thing where especially men, you don't talk about that stuff. You keep it all inside. And maybe you come home drunk and you knock the wife around, but if you had access to care and if you had a way to understand what it is that's happening to you and why you're doing it, you might be able to control it better. I think there is something in I think Tom Brady and I would agree. I think there is something very seriously wrong with Antonio Brown. When Antonio Brown came to the Buccaneers, he lived with Tom Brady. That was one of the stipulations. It was, okay, so you're going to come here for a little while. Tom's going to take you in. Tom's going to take you under his wing. And the thinking was, if the GOAT of the QB position willing to bond, willing to be that big brother kind of character for him, if that's not something that Antonio Brown would respond to, then there's something wrong with Antonio Brown. And he did. He was good for about a year and a half. They won a Super Bowl. He got a ring. Good for him. But
he caught a touchdown in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, and now he's gone, and he may never play in the NFL again. And I think that's why Tom Brady was the way he was. I think Tom Brady understands that there's something wrong with this dude. Maybe his pride won't allow him to go to a doctor. Fuck ass bitch. I mean, we just saw the video of him, the way he behaves when he's, that was not normal. Under any circumstances, that is not normal. I mean, to say nothing of, in the way he was able to switch gears, fuck ass bitch, that's right, ho, and you ends this, you ends that, hey, Poppy Daddy loves you, FS ho, that's like some weird gymnastics going on. There's some emotional and psychological ups and downs that he's experiencing there. From her being a broke ass ho to the cops being bitch ass ends to I love you, Poppy.
This looks a lot like every other episode of Cops in the first 5 years. It was a different show in the first 5 years where it was a cop pulling someone over, and then someone's going to lie, and the cop's going to bust them in a lie, and then they're going to have to pull them out the car, and then they're going to have to search them or maybe wrestle with them because they don't want to put their hands behind their back. And this language is something cops hear, I don't want to say on a daily basis, but this isn't shocking to them. Do
they really? People being that combative with them, or is that just something that a celebrity with that kind of money, who might feel a bit indemnified and able to get away with that kind of thing, the way a regular street neighborhood kid wouldn't? I think him to talk like that.
Yes,
he'd be bailed out if he was,
Probably, and look, this happens in the trailer park. This happens in the inner city. This happens with certain people in the suburbs, even too.
I've seen cops.
Yeah.
Live PD. I used to love live PD. You don't have to have money to treat.
I used to love cops, and it made me, like, when I was a kid, I kind of thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool to be a cop? You get to catch all the bad guys and stuff. Then I watch Cops. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
I knew too many cops. Got too many cops in my family. My mom, as I've want to say all the time, retired from the Illinois State Police after 20 years, just a couple of years back. I never wanted to be a cop. No, thank you.
You pull over some guy, it's like, I smell marijuana. Do you have any marijuana? No, sir. And he's got a joint behind his ear. Like just the lowest scum of the earth, just lying straight to your face all day, every day. Like you're not going to bust them. Like, my 6-year-old lies about not eating something out the pantry. It's like, I know what you're saying. You're so
right,
busted.
Step out of the pantry. All right, come on, young man. Step out of the pantry.
So these people have an
IQ. Oreo cookies tonight. I had a couple.
Right.
Stuff like that. By the way, Barrett Robbins is who I was talking about.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Yeah. So the Antonio Brown thing, though, I don't know if I would rule out that he'll never take another snap in the NFL again. There's a lot of desperate teams out there. He is good. He hasn't been violent. He hasn't hurt anybody. He's hurt some people's feelings and cussed them out. But I think it's a real important thing to note if he's never taken a swing on the field or off the field. It's different. It's different.
He's not like who was it? Who was the guy for the Cincinnati Bengals that ripped off the Bengal or the Steelers quarterback's helmet and then bashed him over the head with it? Do you remember that?
Man, that was fantastic.
That was wonderful. Now that's what I want to see in my football. No, and I happen to agree with you. I don't think he's done. I don't believe there's any integrity or any sort of adherence to a certain standard that NFL teams are anchored to in order to keep their league pure. They'll let anybody play as long as they're good and they don't embarrass them publicly. That's it. Those are the rules. Don't embarrass the shield, which is, the NFL shield. Don't embarrass the shield and don't embarrass the brand of the team you play for. Other than that, hey, you want to beat up your wife at home? That's fine. But if she goes, I'm serious. But if they go but she goes squawking to the police, now we got a problem.
Oh, okay, okay.
But if you can keep your stuff maintained, they don't care. There is no integrity with the NFL. You want to talk about it, just awful bunch of people. And I'm talking about the people in the league offices. I'm not even discussing the actual players. So one of the things that is interesting about this conversation about whether or not Antonio Brown will ever play again is it comes down to if he wasn't, all right, let's forget about whether or not he's good or not. The thing that would stop him, the thing that you might hear from a general manager when asked if he'll sign Antonio Brown would be something along the lines of this. No, we don't want the distraction. Right? That's the idea. He'll be a distraction. That's bullshit. They don't give a shit about distraction. Do you think that the offensive line, when Antonio Brown acts a fool, do you think that your offensive line goes home after that and just stays up late at night worried about it? Nobody fucking cares. If you're a clown show on the team, that doesn't affect the free safety. That does, you know what I mean? That doesn't affect it. That's a bullshit thing. We don't want the distraction. What they mean to say there is they don't want a bunch of press people asking questions to other players, and then the other players have to. That's what it's not about it being an actual distraction. This idea that the team would be just emotionally devastated if one of their players behaved this way is such a right.
I got the vapors.
Oh my! That is such a bullshit, disingenuous reason. If there is a team out there that needs a number one wide receiver and they're on the verge of winning something big, they got a team that's making a run, Antonio Brown will be back in the NFL. There will be a reason, and they'll come up. These smart people, they pay smart people to come up with bullshit to throw out into the press, explaining why they make these horrible decisions. But I'm with you. I don't think he's necessarily done, and it's almost entirely because of what you said. This wasn't a violent crime. This wasn't something that is the league going to come? I don't believe so. He's done. He's done. I don't think the league is going to do anything to him. How can they? He's out of football at the moment. Now, if he comes back, will the league readdress it? Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, he's Bill Belichick wants him back. The league ain't gonna do anything to the. Now it won't be this year, obviously, because you can't add to rosters. We're heading into the postseason here, but I think it's very. You know what I think is more likely though. I think it's more. We've got two leagues that are starting up here in the next few months. We've got the XFL coming back, starting up again.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. And then we've got a rebooted here. This is the one I'm so excited about. They've rebooted the USFL. The USFL is coming back in a couple of months. And what I love about this, James, I don't know if you know this about me, but there was a time in my life where I considered myself one of the nation's foremost authorities on the USFL. I was 13 years old. It was 1984. But I knew all about the USFL. I decided as a young boy that okay, so what could I know that would be interesting? See, even at 13, I was already thinking about being a host, right? I was already
Getting a
thinking
niche.
about, right, the niche. What would be my expertise? So I became like a diehard USFL fan. I mean, I'm out there, I'm watching Michigan Panthers games, I'm watching Philadelphia Stars games. I'm dreaming to be one of the 5,000 people at Soldier Field for a Blitz game. I really did enjoy the USFL. I've read countless books about the USFL. I've seen every documentary ever made about the USFL. I'm fascinated by it. That is a league that would have survived. That league went out under not because nobody was interested or because it was bad football, because it wasn't bad football. See, remember, the USFL didn't have a bunch of guys who would have otherwise been 5th and 6th round draft picks in the NFL. No, the USFL was signing number 1 overall guys who would have been the USFL signed Doug Flutie number 1. They had Herschel Walker number 1. They had Jim Kelly. They had Jim Young or Steve Young. I mean, what the USFL did was they screwed over the Shield, and the Shield got angry, and it turned into a war because the Shield wanted Jim Kelly, the Shield wanted Herschel Walker, the Shield wanted Steve Young. But you had big money owners in the USFL who were willing to pay Herschel Walker way more, the Heisman Trophy winner, way more than the NFL was. The USFL was fun, man, and they're rebooting it. It's coming back here in a couple of months. And one of the things that I love, it has nothing to do with the old league other than the name. They've bought the name, none of the same owners or anything like that. Because if you remember, the most high-profile owner of the USFL was Donald Trump, and he is not going to be involved in this moving forward. But you know what they did that was cool? They went and they bought all the trademarks on all the old teams, bought them all. So all the teams in the new USFL are going to have the same names as the teams that were in the old USFL, which I love. So let's go Blitz, let's go Philly Stars, and all that good stuff. You want to go?
That sounds fantastic. But my fantasy for what we need for a second football league, it has to be associated with the NFL. It has to be its minor league, and there has to be relegation and promotion. And the fun part about this is
now, are you talking about promotion to the NFL?
Yeah.
So a team that wins the minor league of NFL the next season would be in the NFL.
Yeah, and so see, the NFL wouldn't get jealous and try and destroy it if it's minor league.
Yeah, there would be too many changes that would have to occur to the way the NFL does its scheduling and does its all the.
No, they would just have to own it. They would just have to own it. They would let them be a part owner or whatever.
I love the idea of relegation and promotion. I do. I love that. I would like to see that with the NFL. Like, how great would it be?
Well, that would be best for us as football fans because the alternative is you're diluting the talent pool across 2 leagues.
So here's how that would work with the current structure of football in America. So imagine who's the worst team of football? Would it be the
Detroit Lions?
The Lions? Okay. So the Lions would get relegated, and suddenly the NFL would have the
San Antonio Gunslingers.
No, I was going to say the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh, okay.
Suddenly the Crimson Tide would be in the NFL. I mean, because that's the only semblance of a minor league that we have at this time. But yeah, that would be fun. I would love to see
Look, if we had that situation where the USFL or whatever the minor league has promotion and relegation, right now Antonio Brown would be asking the top 4 teams over in the USFL, you need a wide receiver? And all 4 of them would say, oh my God, yes.
Ain't that the truth?
And so he could be kicked out of the NFL, and then he could work his way right back into the NFL by dominating, stomping on the minor league. He'd probably catch a touchdown pass from Johnny Manziel or Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow or some of these other names that need a team. Damn it!
And Barrett Robbins would be blocking for him.
Yes. Dude, it would. Oh, it sounds so fantastic in my head. If only I could do a better job explaining it, the whole world would agree, and this would happen. The magic would happen.
I think the structure in the way the NFL is with how they've got their schedules like a year in advance, like they know a year in advance what teams are going to be playing. I think the NFL would have to make a lot of changes. But you're right. If it was something that the NFL owned themselves, they would gladly make the changes because they would have found some economic benefit to doing it this way. I just don't know that there is a obvious economic benefit to this. I mean, it'll never happen, but it is a fun thing to consider.
No, the economic benefit is the NFL is right now held down and fenced into 32 markets. How do you get to 60 markets? This is it. This is how you do it.
You know what this is? That this is a thing for an emerging league. This is a thing for like the rebooted USFL. The USFL will have teams in major markets. They're big cities. They're going to be like they were the first time around: Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. All of that. San Francisco. So all of those cities had teams. I don't think Dallas did, but I know San Antonio and Houston both had UFO.
Right.
San Antonio Gunslingers and Houston Gamblers. Told you I knew the teams. So the new USFL, if they were to do that, because they do have, it's starting out as an 8-team league, there's only 8 teams. But if they weren't going to do it that way, and they did want to do it, with the major market teams, you could have an entire secondary league in places like Tulsa, Baton Rouge, Gainesville,
like a Portland,
Albany. Yeah,
no, there's still a lot of huge markets that are untouched by the NFL.
But those smaller markets than the initial big major, they're not even majors, but the initial big markets, they could fight for promotion. And the major teams could fight. I mean, how embarrassing would it be if like Boston suddenly got relegated and now Boston's playing Peoria, Illinois, but the Akron Bulldogs are now playing a team from New York City. That would be, I think it would have to be a completely new league. It's something like the XFL or the USFL could do, but I don't think.
Well, we already have a taste of what that would feel like because there would be other teams like Green Bay. Green Bay, a town of 300,000 people or something lame like that, and they're going up against New York City within a metroplex of 16 million people and winning.
Yeah, but the only way that doesn't make sense is if we go back to the way football was in the 1915s and 1920s, where everybody on your team was literally born in the city of the team. You know what I mean? When it was actually, that's how it used to be.
For the fans though, if you're from Green Bay, when do you ever match up Green Bay against New York City and come out ahead? It's just on the field.
Yeah, just in football.
So that's cool.
I believe Green Bay, Wisconsin is the smallest city in any sport in America to have any sport. I don't think there's another, maybe Columbus in hockey, but Columbus is not.
No, Columbus is bigger than Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Right. Columbus is, people don't realize that. Columbus is the biggest city in the state of Ohio. It's not as glamorous, I guess.
Well, the state's nicely bisected by Cleveland and Cincinnati geography,
Same thing, I believe, for the Madison, Wisconsin metro area. The Madison, Wisconsin area is the biggest area, at least as far as media market, I want to say, in the state of Wisconsin. Most people would just think, oh, it's got to be Milwaukee. But no, it's actually Madison. Madison is, I would check that, but at least it was at some point. All right. Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What we do here. So last night we had gotten into a bit of a kerfuffle, not much, just a little bit of a push and pushback over the subject of LeBron James. Now you put me in a position that I never thought I'd be in, which is a position where I had to defend LeBron James. And I don't remember what the conversation was about, but you obviously do not like LeBron James. I don't either. Full disclosure.
I don't dislike him. No, I don't dislike him at all. I think he's below average intelligence, and that's okay. That doesn't mean I dislike him. Right. I want to separate those two things, and
that's what we disagree on. I don't believe he is below average intelligence. I think that you using the fact that he skipped directly to college or directly to the pros from high school doesn't mean shit, because the smartest person I know didn't even graduate high school. He's a high school dropout, or at least one of the most influential. And it's Steve Dahl, the radio guy. I mean, he is an absolute brilliant man, and he didn't even graduate high school.
There's anecdotal evidence otherwise, but on top of that, Steve Dahl didn't skip out of high school because he never had to take a test or worry about grades, because his athletic ability was going to carry him to the top.
Okay, but you're making an assumption there. You don't
It is an assumption, but no, I package that background knowledge with how he sounds in interviews and how he answers questions. And
this is where I disagreed with you last night. I am a great fan of his HBO series, The Shop. I think, and I'm a great fan of it because I find it so interesting and enlightening. I find him to be a very deep thinker, a very well thought. Now, granted, he is a superstar with a team of people around him, and he knows that he's being filmed in a conversation setting. So maybe he's prepped up very well. Maybe they give him really interesting things to say that aren't organically produced by the LeBron James head. I don't know. I think it's cynical of me to assume that's the case, but he comes off very well. He comes off very smart, very intuitive, very interesting, calming. Do you know what the shop is?
No, I've never even heard of this until you just mentioned it.
Okay, well, it's fairly. I don't think he creates any new ones. It's an off-season show typically, but it's a series on HBO where it's LeBron James hanging out in a barbershop with a bunch of his buddies, and all of his buddies are, Charles Barkley and other Kevin Hart. It's just a roundtable discussion of all of these really interesting celebrity people, and the round table is sort of anchored by LeBron James, and they're all sitting in barber chairs at in a barbershop, in any African American culture. The barbershop is a big player in the men's side of things, and that's what it is. And the conversations are fascinating, and they're funny, and they're fast. And I really didn't have any opinion on LeBron James' wit or LeBron James' intellect until I saw this, and I went, that's but again, being cynical, he might be prepped up. This isn't a live show. He knows what they're going to be talking about, so who knows? But that's not what I want to talk to you about LeBron James, because he did something here. All right, so here's the deal. I got some audio we can play if we need to, but let me set the scene. Kevin Porter, Houston Rockets shooting guard, made a shot the other night, and
it was last night, wasn't it?
Are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you
tell them the story. I'm going to grab another beer.
Yeah. Okay, come on back. We'll get you all in.
Trigger.
Who is? I can't remember the name of the guy. Who is the guy? Hold on. So last night in the Houston Rockets Washington Bullets game, where is it? I'm sorry, folks. Just bear with me for a second. I got to pull this up. Rockets Bullets game last night. Kevin Porter Jr. made a nice shot. Oh, well, he's paid enough money, so he may as well make those good shots. And Glenn Consor, the play-by-play guy for the Houston Rockets, made a comment after, well, you know what? Now James is gone. Here's what he said. I'll just tell you what he said, and then we'll play it back. So Houston Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. puts up a shot, beautiful shot, swish, sinks. And Glenn Consor, the play-by-play guy for the Houston Rockets broadcast team, he says, you got to give him credit. Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled that trigger right at the right time. You got to give him credit. Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled the trigger right at the right time. Now, LeBron James heard Kevin Consor say that. He was watching the game at home, or wherever it is that he watches games. He claims that he was watching it live. He was watching the game, and he immediately sent out a tweet that said, "Oh, he thought this was cool, huh? Nah, we ain't going for this. Sorry, but this ain't gonna fly. How insensitive can you be to say something like this? Beat it, man. I pray for you, but there's no place in our beautiful game for you." That was LeBron James' tweet to or regarding Houston Rockets play-by-play man Glenn Consor. Now, remember what Glenn Consor said was, what he said was he pulled the trigger just like his. You got to give him you got to give him credit, like his dad pulled the trigger at the right time. And then LeBron James says, "Oh, he said this was cool. Nah, we ain't going for this. Sorry, but this ain't going to fly. How insensitive can you be to say something like this? Beat it, man. I pray for you, but there's no place in our beautiful game for you." Now, here's the problem.
Wait, did you have the Glenn Consor audio?
I do. I can play it. You want it? Do we want
I was going to give it to you if you didn't have it already.
Oh, yeah. No, I got it. I got it. We'll play it. I guess, why not? Let's hear it. Why not? We may as well, because, my inflection might lead people to think one thing or the other, but regardless, it is an interesting story. Hold on, let me get up to it. We'll get there, folks. Please. Jesus, take him for.
Hi, Alicia.
All right, here we go. See if I can find it here. It's got to be in the story, right? One would imagine.
You can go dig it out of your email. I just sent you an MP3.
Yep, here it is. I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Not yours, but we can actually watch it. So here's how it went down on the air. This is what LeBron James was talking about, and LeBron James is calling for the firing of Glenn Consor, the play-by-play man of the Houston Rockets. So here you go.
What a well-designed play, and you got to give credit. Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled that trigger right at the right time.
Okay.
That one stung.
All right, so that's the comment from Glenn Consor, Rockets play-by-play man, that made LeBron James tweet that there's no place in the game for comments like that. Now, you got to be wondering to yourself, what the hell is that about? What does his dad do? He just referenced the guy's dad. Well, you see, the problem is that back in 1993, Kevin Porter's dad was convicted of murdering a 14-year-old girl. This is back in 1993. Shot a 14-year-old girl, killed her dead. So when Glenn Consor said, just like his dad, he pulled the trigger at the right time. Now, LeBron James hears this. He loses it on Twitter, demands that Glenn Consor be fired. And that's where we are now. Now, there is more to this story, but I'm wondering so far, do you have any thoughts on what that's all about, James?
I think it wasn't murder. I think he was trying to shoot someone else and hit her instead. And so it was like a felony manslaughter. He gets out after 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, I believe, he himself is shot to death.
Killed.
So he has
2004.
Yeah, 2004. Thank you. So he has two things on his biography where a trigger went wrong and could be digging in a wound from the the familial wounds.
So Houston Rocket guard Kevin Porter Jr., his dad, shot a girl, was convicted of killing a 14-year-old girl, and then was killed himself by a gun. Glenn Consor, after he drains a shot, says, just like his dad, he pulled the trigger at the right time. LeBron James hears this and freaks out, demands his job, says there's no place in our game for that kind of shit. That makes sense, right? In that context, that is a shitty thing to say. What, are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be cute? Here's the problem. Glenn Consor, and he issued an apology tonight, and he explained, and this is, when I heard it, now I'm an old buckethead, right? I mean, I love basketball in the 1980s. I was a big fan of basketball when I was 10, 11 years old. So you see, I remember Kevin Porter. I remember Kevin Porter of the Washington Bullets. I remember the NBA player Kevin Porter. So when I see Kevin Porter Jr. draining those shots, I think that's what he meant, just like his old man, right? Wasn't aware of the 93 shooting, wasn't aware. I thought just like his old man was a reference to Kevin Porter, who played for the Washington Buckets and a few Bullets and a couple other teams back in the day. Here's the problem. Kevin Porter Jr. is not the son of that Kevin Porter. Glenn Consor, the play-by-play man of the Houston Rockets, thought he was. The Houston Rockets play-by-play man, and he explained this in his apology tonight. He said, look, this is me. This is about due diligence on my part. I guess I was lazy. I've been calling these games I just always assumed that that Kevin Porter Jr. was the son of Kevin Porter, the NBA player from the 80s and 90s. LeBron James heard the apology that Glenn Consor offered, which isn't that reasonable? Isn't that reasonable?
Oh my God, it's completely reasonable. Are you supposed to double check that the guy who played for the Washington NBA franchise 30 years ago, his son, it'd be completely reasonable. His son is Kevin Porter Jr. in the current generation. And for them to make that connection, it's automatic. What are the odds?
Well, I guess it's a common name, and I freely admit that I assumed that he was Kevin Porter's son.
First off, it's sort of a common name, but also the fact that he's a junior means that his dad is Kevin Porter, so now those odds are astronomical that it would be someone else.
But it is, of course, the Kevin Porter who is not the former Washington Bullet, former four-time,
less glorious
4 times in assists. Yeah, it's not that guy. But so he apologizes for it. He says he's going to reach out to Kevin Porter Jr. and talk to him about it and say, look, man, this is what I meant. It's a completely reasonable, because here's why it's true. Here's why I buy it 100%. Because if he did know that Kevin Porter Jr.'s father, not Kevin Porter of the former NBA from the 80s, but if he did know that Kevin Porter Jr.'s father was involved in all of these gun violence issues, and he uses something like pulled the trigger like his old man, there is no explanation for that. I'd be like, what does he have, Tourette's? Did he say the quiet part out loud? What the hell? That is not something. This guy is not, they didn't pull him. He didn't win a contest to get this job. He is an NBA, he's a major market NBA play-by-play guy in Houston for the Rockets. They don't get wacky like that. There is a lot of money in those jobs. That's a nice salary that he makes. He's not going to go wildcatting and saying bullshit like that. So the idea that he believed, just as I did, that Kevin Porter Jr. is the son of the other NBA player, Kevin Porter Sr., Kevin Porter, is completely reasonable. So after he issued his apology to Kevin Porter Jr. and explained his side of things, LeBron James tweeted again and said, "Nuh-uh, brah, not buying it." Now is LeBron James? Here's the question we must ask ourselves. Does LeBron James legitimately not buy that explanation? Because if he doesn't, you're right about him. He's a moron, because that is a perfectly believable explanation. What I think is more likely is that LeBron James is never wrong. He's never wrong. So that he went off half-cocked. You think LeBron James is going to apologize and be magnanimous and say, hey, man, you know what? You're right. That isn't obvious. You got a little confused. I'm sorry that happened. Do you think LeBron James has ever done that since he was 16 years old? Told somebody, hey, dude, my bad. I was wrong. You're right. Hell no. That is not in the makeup of King James.
I've seen him. Hasn't he been interviewed since he left Miami? And they asked him about when they had the little walkout with him and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. And he was like, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And he didn't get all those. He did good. But I remember he was asked about that. And he was actually like, I was a little worked up at the time. And he kind of sounded reasonable, not like someone who couldn't possibly be pushed back against. I think I've seen evidence of LeBron giving ground before, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the excuse that the announcer gave is believable. It's understandable. It makes perfect sense to me, as I myself assumed that he was the son of Kevin Porter.
It makes more sense than he thought he would crotch kick the guy right after a winning 3-pointer. Like he's just been holding on to this nugget in the back of his head so he can pull it out and thump him in the right arena. What?
It's his own team.
I know.
Look, like his own team. I could see if you wanted to be snarky and say something off color, and still that.
Bro, he's got to ride the plane back.
Exactly.
On all the games. Yeah.
How ridiculous. And to Kevin Porter Jr.'s credit, he has said nothing about it. He's not turning it into a thing. They're going to work it out. He's not being goaded into demanding that this man be fired because LeBron James says he should be. So good for you, Kevin Porter, so far. But if anyone out there doesn't believe that this is an honest mistake, now, should he have been better prepped to do his job and maybe know all of the personal history? Possibly you could make that case. But to still lean into the idea that, as LeBron is, that he needs to be fired because he maliciously and intentionally made this insult is fucking bullshit.
No, not having it, bro.
Not having it, are you, LeBron? That's totally unbelievable.
Luckily for Glenn, he is not white, or he would be under a steamroller by now.
Wait, isn't he? Isn't he? Yes, he is.
It would have been mentioned by now. I don't know what color he is, but if he was white, it would have been mentioned, and it would have been LeBron. LeBron would have brought up race.
No, 100%. Glenn Consor's a white guy.
Is he?
100%. Yeah,
I'm surprised that's not the lead angle then. Look at this racist white NBA announcer. Man, we can't get away from the white supremacy even on our own basketball courts and our own leagues or whatever. I got to go to work and hear this.
Yeah.
I figure that would probably be in the headline if it was a deal. I think he's like racially ambiguous. He's like one of those dudes.
No, he's not. He's not racially. He's as racially ambiguous as you are. You don't, there you go. Let's look at is that it? We're gonna use that one. Yeah, we'll use that one. Boom, there he is.
That's Glenn Consour?
That's Glenn Consour, yeah.
Oh,
There you
he's
go.
dead. He's a dead man.
He's a dead man.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone in the woke mob is going to accept that it's an honest mistake that almost anyone could have made. All right, maybe. Yeah, but there you go. Yeah. All right, so I thought that was interesting because just yesterday I was defending LeBron James, and now here we are today, and he pissed me off. You got anything else?
What else was I gonna do?
What do you got?
No, I thought no. I sent you another email. I nominated my top 3 football theme songs, and not only do I want us to vote on what the top NFL theme song is, I would like to point out the masterful pieces of music that all 3 of these pieces are.
Now, what do you mean? Explain to me what do you mean top NFL theme song? Like what is an NFL theme song?
So each network has its theme song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I sent you.
That's NBA.
Yeah, and we're not going to go through all of them. I just nominated my top 3 because this is a Politburo, not a democracy. The democracy part is going to happen now. So the segment doesn't last for 28 minutes. But I just have the top 3 NFL songs. And as someone who plays instruments and has written music and is somewhat of a classical music fan, and I knowing theory and playing in bands and playing in bands in junior high and high school and all that crap, these are amazing compositions just based on technical musical fundamentals and also the creativity and the dynamics and the use of the instruments. They're just modern contemporary masterpieces.
I'm trying to think if off the top of my head I'm certain that when I hear them I'll go, oh yeah, I know that, but I can't think of what they would be off the top of my head. Should we listen to some?
Dude, Tchaikovsky, Bach, Beethoven, they would all just be nodding like, this is good stuff.
It's good stuff. Okay. Yeah. So here you go. NFL theme songs. Here is
what network's first?
Well, I was going to tell you, this is the NFL theme for the Columbia Broadcast System. This is the CBS NFL broadcast theme.
Let it roll.
All right.
Yeah, and look, keep in mind that the whole point of these themes is to sort of get you revved up and get you in that sort of battle mindset, but not in battle like we're about to see a bunch of blood and guts, like battle like this is about to be awesome.
Yeah, this is supposed to.
And so
you never hear it like that. There is always a voiceover laid on top of it, so it's not like we've ever.
And stadium noises and dancing cheerleaders, and then stats are flashing on the screen, and there's the coach, and when you strip it, it's amazing.
CBS being the AFC network, I typically don't watch AFC games, so I did not recognize that. Or let's give the National Broadcast Company. Let's give them a listen. This is this is NBC's NFL. Or no, it's not. I'm sorry. This is Fox. I'm sorry. Why did I say that?
Oh, see, this one might be my favorite.
All right. So, and not, is it your favorite because you're a Cowboy fan and they play on Fox?
No. It's a fantastic piece of music. It's fantastic composition, top to bottom.
All right, here you go. Oh yeah, the gold standard with that big giant robot football player. Yeah, listen to this. The NFL on Fox is brought to you by Chili's, your neighborhood bar and grill. Dr. Scholl's, because your feet stink. And the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex Chevy dealers. Chevy, because you can't afford an import. That's typically how you'd hear it.
Oh, dude, so listen to the layers. You know, they have the strings, they have the brass, they have the trumpets and the trombones doing their little thing. They're doing amazing things with the drums, and some of them is like, is that a real snare? Or is that a drum machine snare? And
dude, already CBS is out. Forget about CBS. You've been beaten. You aren't as good as the second offer.
Well, the CBS one is good because it's like a movie score.
That is, but see, I'm also a Bears fan, so I mean, the majority of the games that I watch are Bears games.
You have an emotional connection to that song. I do too. I recognize my bias, but
it's the one we're most familiar with. Because
this is probably the most classic football song in the history of football. The next one.
Oh, okay. So this would be ABC, ESPN's Monday Night Football. Oh! Welcome, everybody, to Pittsburgh's Three River Stadium, where the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Slap that bass, son.
Oh, dude, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Are you kidding me? How are we going to? I don't know. Oh, again, we're listening to Fox here. Oh, geez. Or are we going to go? Oh, man. All right, I've got my winner. All right, I got my winner. James?
Man, that is so hard.
No, it's not. I thought it would be. It's close. Okay, can we agree that CBS can go kick rocks? CBS is not in this conversation for the ones with torn between.
It just doesn't hit because you haven't been exposed to it. You don't have the emotional attachment to it like you have had Monday Night Football for 40 years, like you've had Fox for 30 years.
I wonder if E was with us sunglasses because he's Buffalo
AFC.
Bills. He's
Yes.
a Buffalo Bills fan. I wonder if that's unfortunate. He's not here to weigh in on this. All right, so I'll just tell you, it's not even close for me. It is obviously third place is CBS.
Okay.
Second place is Fox, and first place, and it's not even close. It's like first place by a landslide is going to be Monday Night Football.
Do that fiddle walk up where they're kind of doing the devil fiddle. Do
you know what it is? I'll show you what it is. It's first of all, it's that clarion call in the beginning. But
like, are we going to play football or is the king coming?
Right. But here's what I really like. This is the grooving part, right? So 2, 3, 4, and dun. Boom, boom. This right here. I mean, this is almost like football porn, right?
Yes, it is. The slap bass.
Tonight, Peyton Manning takes on little brother Eli Manning in the third meeting between the Manning boys.
Here's the fiddles. This is the fiddle.
This is it.
And it's a merger of like some kind of 70s porn and classical music. 70s porn never had a string section like that.
No, this is high-end porn music. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, can't you hear? I mean, you can hear everybody. You can hear Frank Gifford. You can hear Al Michaels. You can hear John. You can hear all of the voices of Monday Night Football.
Dennis Miller.
Yeah. No, you don't hear him. He had a cup of coffee. Rush Limbaugh. No, you don't. But you do hear. I mean, boy, that is great. That is iconic. I didn't even think about that. You know what I loved about this game? Very, very nice. I didn't think I knew any of the songs, and it turns out that I not only knew 2 of them, I was a big fan of both of them. I like them both. I mean, look, I know we're talking about Monday Night Football, but we can't deny this. NFL football on Fox.
Oh, dude, especially in the playoffs when it's like do or die. It's not like a 7-game series in football. Every game is life and death once you get to the playoffs. And that music, that means business, man. These songs mean business. That means it's about to go down. History's about to be written. What happens tonight cannot be undone.
Man, that stuff is great. That's what she said.
Man, that's what she said. All right. Hey, you mind if I run on you?
No, I'm running too. I just decided my ankle is absolutely killing me. I appreciate
you're screwed, dude. You're screwed.
Folks, if you weren't with us for the beginning of the show, and I'm not going to do it again, but I showed my ankle. I twisted it while running tonight, and I am looking at it. It is swollen up like a softball. I got like a 16-inch softball around my ankle. So if you don't mind, we're going to cut this short a few minutes. I'll be back tomorrow, high noon. We'll do that then, and it'll be fun. Thank you, He just disappeared on me.
I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. To see me through the lonely nights, help me to be strong. I am like the dancing bear, trained to be the best. I am on a never-ending quest. I can smile a little now.
I'm trying to hot mix this live.
I always had to be on guard. That is understood. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401.
I could make it work. I could actually make that horn system, that horn sound. I could make it work. Jeff Glenn, tomorrow night, can we talk about beef stroganoff for an hour instead of football? No, Jeff. Yeah, that would actually not be bad. I love me some beef stroganoff. One of the things revealed on tonight's Pillow Talk edition earlier was that James, who I consider to be a very bright person, very smart guy, very well read, very well-rounded, certainly not someone I would consider a dummy. James had only put together tonight that beef stroganoff might be Russian.
I don't have the greed down the road.
I don't know what he thinks about chicken Kiev, but we can ask him that tomorrow.
I'll travel far from the comfort nest. On a never-ending quest.
All right, I thought something was going on. All right, folks. Like I said, if you were with us earlier, I showed you my ankle. It's all swollen up. I'm not going to do it again because, oh, dude, I have been a warrior for the last 45 minutes. It is killing me. It is just throbbing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the hell out of here. What is that? That's like 10 minutes early. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to pour me another drink, which I never do. And I'm going to slam it. And I'm going to go to sleep. And hopefully when I wake up in the morning, my ankle will be fine. Either way, we will be back and I'll be doing a high noon show tomorrow. This will be the last Pillow Talk show until Monday night. Monday night, Pugs. What about Sunday night? It's my weekend with the boy. So I'm going to have the boy this. Maybe we'll do some Sunday. I don't know. Sit by. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. For sure, the next Pillow Talk show will be on Monday night. And the next high noon show will be tomorrow. So I hope you can join us tomorrow at high noon for a topics, everything the world is talking about on that particular day. Tomorrow at high noon. Okay, bye. Yeah, Albert, I am. I'm actually going to soak my ankle. Like I said, I'm a fat guy with chicken ankles. It is like a genetic atrocity. I have no idea why the ankles that are probably about that round are supposed to support a big fat guy. I guess all I can say is that genetically I'm not supposed to be this fat, and I'm supposed to be a very skinny guy. I am not supposed to be top heavy because, again, I've gone through life with what my first wife called chicken ankles, and that's why I've broken them all the time.
Found a different way, so baffling to some.
Albert, just incidentally, he's asking, Albert says he's got chicken ankles as well. Albert, did you grow up constantly spraining your ankles? Like, did you have a sprained ankle at least once or twice a year? Because that's how life was for me. I was always limping, and it gets to the point where, I guess if you like never have sprained ankles and you get one sprained ankle at 12, you might do the whole thing where you're wrapping it and you're taping it and you're wearing crutches and you're all that stuff. Not me. I got sprained ankles so much that I would just limp. There was nothing all the time. Yeah, all the time. You missed the ankle reveal, Jennifer? How's it looking? Man, it is not looking good. Here. Okay, just for you folks at the end. There you go. Now, like James, I was able to show both because you need to be able to compare. Because, you look at me and you think, well, that looks about normal for a guy his size. But it's not. My ankles are very small, and this is extremely swollen. Yeah. There it is. You see it? Right here. This whole thing right here. All of that. That is a gigantic knot. Oh, boy, does that hurt. And it's been throbbing and throbbing. And just so you understand, here's the normal ankle. This is how it's supposed to look. See how tiny that is? See how little this little thing right here is? Look at what I'm doing. Look at the size of that. Oh, my God. I'm in hell. Oh, it hurts so bad. Ugh. But I'll survive because I've got a full bottle of whiskey. I've got some Epsom salts. I'm an ankle sprain guy. I'm prepared. I know what I got to do. I appreciate thin wrists, but barrel chested. Albert, you got thin wrists too. I got tiny wrists. My wrists are small. My wrists and ankles are both very small. The ankles are the problem, though. The wrists are not the problem. The ankles are the problem because the ankles got to support everything that's stacked above it. And I'm not supposed to be this heavy. So my little chicken ankles are constantly giving way. All right, I'll see you at noon tomorrow, folks. Love ya. Support the show if you can. Always appreciate that. And see you tomorrow at high noon, hopefully. High noon, Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock for the broadcast. Bye, folks.
Far from the comfort nest, I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.